Welcome everyone to a new video of the Donut. The Donut is a Discord community. We like to call ourselves the Upland Creator Society, where all Upland creators, Blender designers, and other artists come together to share knowledge, share their progress, ask questions, especially when it comes down to competitions as this. Forgot to introduce myself. My name is DeSjaak, and today I am going to look at the announcement of the Master Builders Contest 2023. Of course, we're all very excited that we have a new Master Builders competition. It was released March 10. And today I am not going to do a full tutorial on how to make something for this, but I am going to go through all the rules, every piece of information you get out of this announcement, because there is a lot in here and it can easily be skipped, and you'll get into problems later on in the contest. So you really have to read this very well. And I'm going to do that with you. So let's just start with saying that I'm still freaked out about the hands all these llamas have. It's like a bit weird, this anamorphic, but he is ready to construct something in his suit. Okay, on to more important things. The cities we are designing for are Dallas, Detroit, Buenos Aires, Queens, Las Vegas, Arlington, Rio, and Porto. None of these cities have been included in a player-made structure competition before, so this is the first time that they will get their own building structures, so that's very exciting to give them a bit more localized feel. I am most excited about the Porto and Rio ones. Oh, Buenos Aires should be good as well. I don't know what Arlington looks like. Maybe that's very pretty in the end. I don't know. I'm very excited to see what everyone makes. I'm going to skip through this a bit. This is an important part. The prize. What are we going to win if you get your design up? I'm assuming it will be one winner per city. Haven't read anything about that, but I'm assuming they will do that. What you get to do is you get to name your model. I got in a bit of trouble the last time I won a Master Builder contest because I named mine the Assassin's Courtyard, and they said it was almost disqualified after winning because it was too violent. I didn't agree. I made a bit of fuss, but luckily got to keep its name because I think it's quite fitting for a building. So you can name your building. You get a Master Builder's badge that looks like this. You get one full spark and you get 100k UPEX, which isn't too much. I think it's mostly the spark that's a big prize over here. And just the fact that you have a building in the game in itself. But know that there is going to be quite some work into getting this fit into the requirements for a building. I think it's a bit more effort than the ornaments competition, for instance, but still give it a try, even if you've never done Blender before. There are a lot of helpful people in the Donut, so please join and ask your questions if it's your first time. Then we are going to Master Builders contest phase and schedule. Okay, so the cities are divided into 3 phases. So we'll have over a month of time to design, but the handing in process will be in phases. Dallas and Detroit are the first ones up. So if you want to do those, you have to start now. But what a lot of people do is skip some phases and just, for instance, make like a very good one for Rio and Porto and then don't do the first phases. That's something you can do. On the competition page where we are now, they have like the schedule set up chronologically, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the per phase. So if you just are making for one city, you can see like what the dates will be. But as you can see, they overlap. So sometimes you have to resubmit for phase 3 and then already start for phase 4. Well, that's actually a weird one that I want to note. They also included phase 4 submissions in there, but there is no phase 4 in terms of cities. So this is a mistake in the announcement. I am going to ask about this, and if there is going to be a phase 4 included that I don't have in this video, I will make sure I will put it in the comments. So check there to see if they forgot a bunch of cities or are changing all the dates and I'm making this video for nothing now. Phase 1 is Dallas and Detroit. That means that the submissions open on March 10, which is yesterday. So yes, you can already submit. You will have till March 29 to enter your designs for this. This is a very long time, but note for the second and third phase, there's a lot shorter time, so they want you to start with those already as well. Then March 29, you submit your entry, and then there's a resubmission phase. So you will probably get some feedback on what is wrong with your model, or you still have to edit or do, and you will have until April 2 to submit this for Dallas and Detroit buildings. And April 4, the voting starts. And this already ends a day later, so there's a very short voting period. And then the day after, the winners are announced. I do expect some delay in here because it's so like shortly timed. Then if the resubmissions are not going well or something, then they might delay this a bit. But yeah, there's a very short period for that. So your first deadline is March 29 if you want to make a building for Dallas and Detroit. And note that you have the week after to well, not the whole week after, until April 2 to resubmit if something's wrong. Like Upland's team finds something wrong in your building. You only have one chance to resubmit, so if it doesn't fit all the requirements, you unfortunately are disqualified. Then for phase 2, Buenos Aires, Queens, and Las Vegas. The timeline, well, the submissions open March 31, but as you can see, you have a way shorter time to submit because on April 5, the submissions close. Which means if you are making something for Buenos Aires, Queens, or Las Vegas, you can just as well start now. And then it's just submissions opens mean you have the link to submit it on March 31. Resubmission is at April 9. Well, then they'll close, and the voting starts April 11. It's again one day, and on the 13th, the winners are announced. Something that I didn't mention for phase 1, but I do want to say is that for the resubmissions, don't wait until the last minute to resubmit, because you want, like if you find out that you cannot do something or you don't understand what the feedback is, you want that time to ask questions beforehand. So once you get that feedback in, look at it right away. Then the third phase is Arlington, Rio, and Porto. Submissions open April 7th, but as you can see also they close at April 12th, so it's again a way shorter period than you had for phase 1, so start early. For the last phase, probably the quality will be the best because people had all this time to work on them, and I think there are going to be people who start early on those, because especially Rio and Porto, they should look very cool. So start as soon as you can. The submission closes at April 12th. Resubmission closes at April 16th. And then voting is 18 till 19. And April 23, the winners are announced. So again, because, oh, sorry, my cat's just walked in. Hi. Again, because there is still phase 4, including the dates on the announcement, which is very confusing. I'm not sure if these dates will 100% be true. If they're switching it up later, I will note it in the comments of this video, and of course in an announcement in the donut. Then on to the submission guidelines. These ones are just more like, they're not rules, but they're just more stylistic guidelines, like some tips to give to you is that you want to have it look like the real world and not, for instance, like a castle or something like very organic looking. You want to like reflect that style of the city. So what I really would suggest is put some research in, like make a sort of what do you call that, like make a collage of buildings that you see in that city that you like read up on some of the historic type of architectural structures you have there. I personally would not copy an existing building 100% because it's kind of not your design, so I'm not sure. I wouldn't do that, but of course you can take inspiration from certain elements, and that's actually what I do. So I just look up a bunch of buildings and architectural styles I'll within that specific city, and then try to combine that in a new design of my own. So yeah, I think the more it reflects the city, the more votes you are going to get, because that's what people are voting for, hopefully. So this is more style-wise. And let me see. These. Let me see what shows up if I click on this. Oh yeah. So if I clicked on that, I'm coming to the exporting guide. This is an important one to note. Let me see. Okay, so what we are seeing here is that this information is not relevant to the competition already, because I saw another triangle count, also another UV map size. So for this one, I wouldn't look at the rules and notes so much over here, because it's just not correct with the other notes they are giving. What you do have to look at is this, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, I'm going to not explain that using this reference because it's just an old reference. Okay, and let's get back to the announcement. So the structure style guide, you can take a look at it, but I wouldn't take it for its worth. Sure. Oh yeah, this is what we're going to look at. The official structure template, this is something you want to save on your computer. So if you open it, you get to this drive. I would just like save this entire like download it over here. I already did that, but then you have this file on your computer. I would work in these files, so not start a Blender project from scratch, but like use these ones so that the setup is already like Upland has them. But we'll get to that later. Okay, the submission form, this is how it looks. We can actually go to phase 1 submission right now. I read the terms and conditions. I would always advise people to read them, but I'm not going through them right now. It's just like that you don't do any copyright infringements, that everything you did is made by you and doesn't have like weird sexual things in them. Like that's generally what it says, and that they take their hands off if you violate any copyright. So I would just make sure you make your own design and then you're good. Content guidelines and templates is what is actually the announcement, what we're reading. Name, well, here are all the cities, and then for phase 1 it's only Dallas and Detroit, so that makes sense as well. Model description, I would make it and make it fun, but it's not always included somewhere, so be prepared. People don't get to read it, but make it. So what you have to hand in the end is a P3D link. So there's just a website you can subscribe for free and put your model in, so you can look at it 3D already online. Make sure it's shared publicly, so make sure in privacy settings you have that switched on. You have to put in blend files and GLTF files. Well, it's pretty straightforward. And let's get back to here. Those will follow later on the dates that submission is open. This is an important one. Over here they have a video. Oh, wait. I will put the link to this video also in my below here, but this is a video that you actually want to watch because there's some useful info in here. So do watch this video. Okay, this is a checklist of what you will need to have when you have your building ready. No lights objects, no camera objects, no empty. Okay, so these are the things, if you have to resubmit, is that you probably didn't do right. So what you want to do is, before handing it in, go through this entire list, check if you either know what they're saying and apply that, or ask either in the donut or in the Discord channel that Upland has for the Master Builder Challenge, like, what do I have to do to get my scale to 1:1:1, or to apply all transforms? This is one I always forget. Oh yeah, the 4 layers is something that I do want to get into. So let's open this thing. What do you call it? This is what I downloaded. Oh wait, this is not what I downloaded. This is what I downloaded. Yeah, okay. The structured template files, what you can download from the drive, which I did. See a bunch of things here. Here they have some information on your baking, what you need to note. Look at that. In terms of materials, set the roughness to 1. Upland always wants that for everything. UV maps, some information about that. It's just information. But actually what we do want to get into is this. Yes. Oh, I already had it opened. So actually what this is the file you are going to work in, and over here I can put them on and off. So for instance, I want to see the scale reference. I click on this one. I am actually going to want to close this, but I have no idea how. Oh, here. Okay. So now I have the scale reference opened up, and that's actually good to see because you want to have the height of the doors the same as you would have for all the other Upland buildings. If you want to have 1 story high, you want to have it over here 2, 3. The weird thing is that I did not find a max height for the buildings for this competition, which we should have. So once I get that, I will put it in the comments below, because I am assuming that there will be a max height to the buildings. But this is the scale reference. This is actually, okay, let me go. View frame selected. And this is the, once you finish your building, you will have this. Oh, this is how something might look. Well, this is a ranch house, but your building will look different. And over here you see 4 different layers. They actually did it wrong in their example file, because it cannot be called this. You have to take this away, because it has to have just in lowercase letters these names. And this is good to know before you start, is that you are building it up in 4 different layers. So I'm going to close some down. So you have primary, which is the base of your building. Then you have secondary, which is actually the roof and maybe some detail. And then you have other, which is the windows and doors and maybe some, like this is the inside of the chimney, for instance. You can add some stuff to there, because other is the only layer that can have textures. The other ones cannot have textures. You can see it because detail is some detail. The other ones are fully like in a white color. Like I can show you. They're in this, oh here. They're in this base white color. Roughness is set to 1, and the same for primary and detail. And then other is the only one that has this type of that has a texture to it. Actually, what is also good to note is that this bluish window, that's a set color, so everyone has to use that set color. So you cannot pick something else for that. It is, let me check. Let's go into the hex. 7A9EF3. So pick this color for your windows. The a wood texture that is set here, you can see it over here. It's also a preset texture that Upland provides to you already. So if you start working in this file, use this wood texture. Somehow they just have a thing for their own textures, but also make sure these other 3 layers do not have color or certain texture in it. So what you have to do, you have to bake your textures in. Actually, I will refer you to Upland's video, because I'm very bad at baking and I hate to do it. So I'm going to not dive into that, but then your thing will look like this, which is actually the same, but as you can see here, every layer has its own UV map baked to them in UV editing. Here you can see this background is actually an image where the texture is baked in. So that's what you have to have. It's funny that they, again, here have the wrong names. So please edit this without the... Well, you don't have to do it for this file, but for your own file, make sure you have the correct names there. So this is your baked file. This is the one you're going to export. And make sure to look at like what you need to export. Like you have to have a couple of things set up and applied. Like the way to compress it. There's a lot of information. Like, please look at this before you're going to export, because then you'll definitely have to change it otherwise. And what you have to have is the wireframe version. This is now everything is combined. You actually combine your layers by pressing Command J or Control J if you're not on Mac. That will put layers together, but before you do that, make sure you have it saved with the 4 separate layers, because it's very difficult to get them apart again otherwise. So now this is just one building and it has a wireframe texture. You can see it's like a white texture with roughness set to 1. And let me see, where is it? Alpha set to 1.5. That's why it gets that see-through view. And you have to export this one as well, because this is the file that you have when someone is building a building. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I looked all over and they're not very clear on what to hand in, but I'm actually thinking that what you need to have is your P3D link, then your .blend file with the 4 different layers, and the UV map baked already and linked in there. And then you have to have your .gltf file, which is the wireframe file. And the way you would name it, I would do it like this. But as you can see, like, it's funny that the naming conventions, for instance, they have a uppercase here, which is not to be like that, because they should be lowercase, but fine. And what is very important to see here, where did I see it? Somewhere hidden away. This. Not more than 20,000 triangles. So that's what's noted here. I am going to take this as their word. I am going to ask that for them to confirm if it's 20,000 triangles, because that's something that you want to keep track of while you're designing. This one is in quads, no, n-gons or unnecessary triangles. What that actually means, I think I can show it in here. Let's look at their own. Oh, this is actually funny. Oh no, this is okay. Let me hide these other layers. A quad is something that has 4 of these vertices. That's a quad. if, for instance, this would have been like this, oh, I made some extras, then it would be a triangle. You don't want that. They always say keep it quad for some reason. That's like a more cleaner design. Like this especially you wouldn't want, because this is some weird unnecessary vertices. So this you would want to dissolve. But still, this is also a triangle, which is unnecessary. Try to keep it as quad as you can. So that's what they mean with this sentence, is you want to have as much squares as you have, or at least like the four points, the 4 vertices there. This is the size of your UV map that it has to have, and this is just like the triangles. Yeah, this is all stuff you really need to look at, but I'm not going to go into too much detail. But this you have to have once you're going to export it. And the last point I want to note, I am so happy with this. There will be office hours on Discord from every Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. PT. That means that there will be someone from the Upland team, design team, in the Discord channel. So if we go to here, oh wait, wrong server. If we go to here, there's a Masters Builders one, and in this channel there will be someone helping us out, answering our questions. So this is an important time to be on if you have some questions. But also note, you're always welcome in the donut if you want to ask some questions about this contest, about the requirements, stuff you cannot figure out yourself. I would just say, please start and trying it out. Don't underestimate the time there goes into making sure your model complies with Upland's requirements. So the creative part is the fun part, but don't wait too long till you're going to look at all these rules. Because for me, that and the baking take up most of the time designing. So don't wait too long to look at this. Sorry for this extremely long video, but I hope it was helpful. My name is DeSjaak. I have some models in Upland already, and you can check out my work at my website down here below. And I'm always there in the donut if you need some extra design help. Good luck, and I cannot wait to see all your models.